Hey, welcome to Man Kitchen Recipes. I am Kevin, and today, I'm going to show you how I made these St. Louis style party ribs in the oven. So what I'm going to make my party ribs out of today is what's called a St. Louis cut rib. Let me show you how to cut these a regular full-size spare rib down into a St. Louis cut, and you'll save money on your shopping because you'll pay the same amount of money for an already cut St. Louis style rib as you will for the entire spare rib. All right, let's get into that.
If you're like me, you just buy the whole spare rib. Look at that. $12.43, and you get all that extra meat. Now I'm going to show you how to make that St. Louis cut. There it is, out of the package. And you want to have a lot of paper towels handy because, you know, there's a lot of juice, aka blood, when you take these out of the packet. And you just want to dry them off. You really don't want to rinse these under water. Okay, so dry off your cutting board. Yes, this is a cutting board. It's a piece of my countertop. So you want to get it nice and dry. Flip it over. Now you do have this piece of meat here you can just cut right off. All right, then you want to just feel where the top furthest bone is, and it's right about here. And what you want to do is to just take your ribs and just cut them straight across right here. All right, I'm going to get a little bit bigger knife for this so that I can get my distance cut. Just come straight across. But there you go. Check that out. That is your St. Louis cut ribs. Of course, these have all these down at this end. It's mostly just meat and some cartilage bones. So you want to follow that in a little ways to roughly right about here, right in this area. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off right here. And there you go. That's a nice St. Louis rib cut that you would pay the same amount that I paid to get this whole piece. And you have all this extra meat that you can cook. Now, can you cook this like that, all whole? Yes, you can, but you're not going to get your party ribs. You're not going to get the ribs that everybody loves and knows. You know, and you'll get this. You can cut this, trim this fat off. And then there's also this membrane. Some people score it. I like to take it off because I don't like, it's just chewy. It's tough. Okay, so let me show you how you do that. And with spare ribs, it's a little harder than with baby back ribs. It's basically the same process as baby back ribs. You want to get, if you can get a knife underneath one of these bones and start working it apart. You don't want to really tear it. As far as you can, if you can go all the way across, that's good. You want to get your finger in there. Or you can start from one end and peel it that way. Get in there enough. Get your finger in there and then start pulling. If you go the other way and you just can't get a good grip on it, you can use a paper towel to get a hold of it and then just peel it this way. Using a paper towel gives you more grip on that. Right? That's how easy it can be. Sometimes they come right off, sometimes they are a real booger, and you can get it. Just take your time, peel it, take that membrane all the way off. Okay, so with that other piece that you cut off, I cut that big piece of fat off. There's kind of like a blade bone right here. There's little bones with cartilage. And what I like to do, and what I'll do today, is I'm going to cut it, wrap it up, freeze it, and I'll use it on another cook. Or you can cut these up, like down on this end, you have these little tiny bones, cut in between each one and make rib tips out of them and serve those along with your party ribs. And then there's also that piece of, I call it kind of like a little skirt that I cut off there in the beginning. There's that piece of meat, and then there's that end piece of meat that is all just meat. There is one bone here and one there, and that's more of those cartilage type bones. So you have probably more meat on here than you do with your rib. So I'm going to save this for another cook. I like to use this rib meat. You can grind it up into sausage. I like to cook it low and slow and get it down to where I can actually make like a pulled pork out of it. And you don't have to make a whole big pork roast. And it's just enough, not a whole bunch. All right, so we're not gonna deal with this. We're making party ribs. You do wanna take a, any kind of pan that you have. You can do a 3x9 glass pan, you can do a roasting pan. I'm using just a regular baking pan, cookie sheet, whatever you wanna call it. And put some foil down. And the only reason why I'm putting foil down is so once these are done, I have easy cleanup. So we're gonna put a rub on, and there's all kinds of rubs you can get from the market, and here's just some of the rubs that I use regularly. And these are in my kitchen, and there's even some down here. Now, if you don't have rub, most people have these spices in their cabinet. So, you know, a tablespoon to half a tablespoon of like salt, maybe a couple tablespoons of pepper, half a tablespoon of garlic and onion, and paprika. You can mix those together. You'd have a nice little seasoning for your ribs. If you want to spice it up a little bit, which I would suggest, add some red chili powder, maybe a little bit of chipotle and a little bit of ground cumin. But if you don't have these kind of rubs in your house, salt, pepper, garlic, onion, paprika. If you can get smoked paprika, that's even better. And then, like I said, spice it up to your liking. I won't be using the salt, pepper, garlic, onion, paprika. I'm just going to use some Killer Hog's hot barbecue rub, which honestly it is not hot. He makes just a regular barbecue rub that you can easily find at Walmart. So first thing you want to do is you put a binder on your ribs. You can use olive oil if you want, or you can just use any yellow mustard. The yellow mustard is not really going to add flavor. And speaking of yellow mustard, you can also put, if you're making your own rub, add a little dry powdered mustard. That you will get a little bit of flavor, but when you use it as a binder, you will not be tasting this yellow mustard, in case you're worried about the yellow mustard. Okay, so do one side, start with the bottom, and then you just take your seasonings, and on the bottom you don't need a whole lot, just a little bit for flavor. Okay, then flip it over and do the other side. And you can go a little heavier on the top side. Here on my little island, I have this foiled pan, and once you put it on your pan, just scrunch it up a tiny bit, just like that. Okay, these have been sitting for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, and you can see how they're kind of looking wet, and that's because all that rub and the mustard and everything's just kind of getting the moisture there. So before I put these in the oven, and since they're going in the oven, I'm going to cover these with some foil, and what that will do is it'll also make these ribs make the bones expose. You're not looking for smoke flavor to come in on top of it, so you want to kind of do your braise and your cooking all at the same time. So I'm going to cover these up loosely, and I am going in at about the middle rack. All right, it's only been 2.5 hours, but those ribs are starting to smell pretty amazing. So I want to take a look. I don't want to overcook these, so let's check them out. All right, so had these in here 2.5 hours at 275 covered, and I want to take a look at them because they smell pretty dang good. All right, well, look at that. You see that pullback on them bones? That's what you're looking for. And you can take a toothpick, and you want to test for tenderness right between the bones. Okay, these are probing really nice. Toothpick is going in there and coming back out. Very nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these off and set them on the stove. And I'm going to let them rest for about 15 minutes or until I can touch them. And then I'll show you what we're going to do next. While I wait for the ribs to cool off a little bit, I want to turn my oven from 275 up to, let's go 375. Because I'm going to put these in here, back in for probably 20 minutes. If you want to do it quick, you can crank that up to 400, 450 and only do it for about 5 minutes. You could even put the broil on and do it for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, these have been resting about 15 minutes. You can easily touch them, and what you want to do is put them bone side up. You just want to cut the bones, cut the ribs individually. Now there's several ways that you can probably see other people making these. This is how I'm making them, and it's the easiest way that I can think of, instead of cutting these before you cook them, which is very time consuming and messier. Okay, so once you get your ribs cut individually. I'm going to put them back on my tray. I'm going to put them ribs bone side down. Okay, and I just picked up some Hickory Smoked Craft barbecue sauce. You can use your favorite, and now you just want to get a lot of barbecue sauce on top of these. You want to brush them. You do want to get the barbecue sauce all over them, top and bottom. Is it messy? Yeah, sure, it's messy. It's okay. They're going to be delicious. Now you actually technically could just go ahead and sauce these and eat them, but you really want to put them back in the oven so that the sauce has a chance to tack up and be nice and sticky and gooey and delicious. Okay, and just so these have a little extra room, I'm going to take a couple of ribs out here so that they can spread out a little bit. And for good measure, we're going to put some more sauce on top. Okay, we got lots of barbecue sauce on here. Now I'm going to stick these back in the oven at 350. 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to check it at 15. And they should be ready to eat. I think I said 350. I'm putting these in at 375. Okay. Uncovered. Okay, it's 15 minutes. Look at that. See how that barbecue sauce is all bubbling right there? These are done. There we go, party ribs from the oven. They smell amazing. All right, the time has finally come, and normally I'd do these outside in one of my pellet grills or a smoker, my barrel smoker. I did these in the oven. Yeah, it's possible. So anyway, party ribs, done a little different than I would normally do them. Done them in the oven. It's time for a taste. Look at those. I mean, look at the pullback on those ribs. If somebody walked in that grills outside and saw these ribs, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't even know if you didn't tell them. They're delicious. Okay. I didn't use any liquid smoke anywhere. I did use the Hickory Smoked barbecue sauce. And I'm telling you, once you sauce these up, nobody's gonna know. You don't even have to tell them you made them in the oven, in the house. Wintertime, ball games, Super Bowl, party ribs. Be sure to make some. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe. And hopefully, I'll see you on the next video. I hope you have a great day. That would be a huge mess to clean up if you didn't use this foil. Look at this. Your pan is clean.